Life is good. Life is so damn good. I mean...
After smashing 2 past Wolves, Newcastle are still unbeaten, as Eddie Howe's Mags had a heated battle at Molineux. It was the subs that stepped up and changed the game. So from a Nick Pope masterclass, to Newcastle's unnoticed evolution, to the Alexander Isak's injury.
Alexander Isak injury, anything to worry about? Is that serious?
And the breaking transfer developments. As per, join us as we discuss the 5 things we learned in Wolves 1 Newcastle United 2.
Let's go!
So the first thing we learned was the controversial Eddie Howe lineup. It was a case of deja vu, as Eddie Howe made a questionable decision with his starting lineup, particularly in choosing Sean Longstaff over Sandro Tonali for Newcastle United's match against Wolves. Fans were taken aback when Tonali, who had just shined and completed 2 full 90-minute matches for Italy during the international break, was left out of the starting 11 despite showing he was match fit after his 10-month ban. Many supporters believed Tonali's recent performances and pedigree warranted a starting role against Wolves. However, Howe opted for Longstaff, a choice that proved to be regrettable as Longstaff struggled in the first half, earning a disappointing match rating of 6.3. His performance was characterized by a lack of contribution, with over 90% of his in-game performance metrics reflecting 0 successes. When Tonali finally entered the match, he made an immediate impact, dominating the midfield and earning a solid match rating of 7.1. His presence in the second half transformed the game. He even came close to scoring, having 2 out for 2 shots on target, while defensively he dominated, having 100% tackles won, 1 clearance, 2 interceptions, 2 recoveries, and also winning 3 out of his 4 ground duels. On BBC Match of the Day 2, Theo Walcott praised Newcastle's halftime substitutions, particularly highlighting Tonali's contribution. He noted, "Tonali picking the ball up deep. You can see the class already and the intensity and energy that Howe was alluding to." Tonali added much-needed technical security to the team, which had been lacking in the first half, and there is solid excitement about Tonali's potential as a regular starter. With his recent performances, it's clear that Sandro Tonali deserves a spot in the starting lineup moving forward, potentially becoming a key player for Newcastle as they aim for success this season. Then building on from that, we also learned about Newcastle's impressive depth. One key takeaway from Newcastle's recent performance is the depth of quality within the squad. With Sandro Tonali on the bench coming on for Longstaff and Joelinton underperforming, manager Eddie Howe was able to call upon Joe Willock, who delivered an impressive display. Willock not only created the most chances on the pitch and was third in the whole game week despite playing 45 minutes. In the game itself, he had a 7.6 match rating, 1 assist, 12 out of 13 accurate passes, a whopping 5 chances created, 1 big chance created, 1 shot, and won 5 out of 6 ground duels. Harvey Barnes, another impactful substitute, tied for second in chances created during the match. His contributions highlighted the team's significant progress in terms of bench strength, demonstrating that they can rely on quality players to change the game. He had a 7.5 match rating, 1 goal, 80% passing accuracy, 2 chances created and 3 shots, being second in total shots and expected goals.
Harvey's lethal off that right foot, and they set up nicely for him, but it was an unbelievable finish, and he's carried on his recent form really, where he's scoring massive goals for us and game-changing goals, so I'm delighted with him.
Yeah, it's something when I'm playing on that left-hand side, I want to be cutting on my right foot whenever I can, and when it opens up there, it's what you do in training. They don't always go in the top corner like that, but it's repetition, practice, and it's something that I probably base myself on is that sort of finish. So delighted to see it fly in the top corner, and obviously with it being in the winning goal, it's a great feeling.
After the match, Barnes took to social media to celebrate the team's comeback, receiving messages of support from former co-owner Mehrdad Goudussi, as well as Newcastle legends like Alan Shearer and teammate Callum Wilson. Goudussi, who was part of the club's 2021 takeover, expressed his continued support with emojis, reinforcing their commitment to being lifelong fans despite stepping away from the club. Following his performance against Wolves, many Must fans believe Barnes deserves a starting spot. Although he has only made 1 start in 4 Premier League games this season, his impact off the bench has been notable. In fact, 5 of his 7 goals have come as a substitute, suggesting that he might be more effective in that role. Barnes' ability to change the dynamics of a game, especially when partnered with Willock, made Newcastle significantly more dangerous in the second half of matches. And interestingly enough, that goal means Harvey Barnes is averaging 79 minutes per goal. With this in mind, Howe may need to reconsider his starting lineup to maximize the contributions of both players moving forward. All in all in this game, credit to Howe for making the change so early. The second half illustrated what we lacked last season due to the injury crisis. We brought on Trippier, Kelly, Tonali, Willock and Barnes. We didn't have those options last season, and they're all potential game changers. Then we also learned about the Swiss Army knife reminder. In a remarkable display, Newcastle United scored 2 goals from outside the box in a single Premier League match for the first time since April 2018. Fabian Schar and Harvey Barnes found the net from long range, echoing the efforts of Ayoze Perez and Jonjo Shelvey in that memorable game against Leicester. A big shout-out goes to Fabian Schar, who not only opened the scoring but also contributed significantly in attack, showcasing his ability to push forward effectively.
Yeah, unbelievable goals. I mean, I think Fabi's taken a bit of a deflection. I don't have the best view of it from the side, but just it's another Fabian moment, really. A centre-half shouldn't do those type of things, but he's capable.
Having a 7.6 match rating, 6 passes into the final third, 4 out of 7 accurate long balls, 0 times dispossessed, 7 clearances, 4 headed clearances, 1 interception, 1 recovery, 5 out of 8 duels won, 1 foul won and 0 fouls committed.
Guys, big thank you to you. You've been an incredible support again today. Obviously, it's been great for us to come back and win the game, and your support has been outstanding as always. So thanks, and see you next week.
On the defensive side, Lewis Hall had the highest pass successes in the game. While every Newcastle defender managed to avoid being dribbled past, Hall faced some challenges, being dribbled past 6 times. Interestingly, the goal conceded came from his flank, raising questions about his defensive reliability. Despite this, his overall influence with the ball was noted, particularly as he finished the game strongly. The key question remains, does Lewis Hall contribute more positively to the team than he detracts? His ability to impact the game offensively is clear, but fans will be keen to see how he balances this with his defensive responsibilities as the season progresses. However, to support his development without limiting his attacking potential, he maybe needs a quicker left-sided centre-back alongside him, or a strong recovery runner like Joe Willock in the left midfield position. Then on the right-back position, Tino Livramento repeatedly inverted during the game, forcing Sean Longstaff into a right-back role. However, this tactical choice backfired, leaving large spaces for Wolves to exploit on the counter and diminishing Livramento's strengths. His aggressive tackling also resulted in few wins and unnecessary fouls in our half, as he won only 40% of his tackles. Overall, he appeared jittery, marking one of his poorest performances in a Newcastle shirt. Kieran Trippier made a noticeable impact when he came on, improving the team's dynamics. However, in recent matches, I have noticed that Trippier, in terms of his crossing ability, it's slowly fading, as the greater percentage of his crosses are usually now either too low or overhit. And in this game, he actually had 1 out of 3 accurate crosses. However, despite the spectacular goals scored defensive weaknesses, the standout player for Newcastle United was undoubtedly Nick Pope. Having a 7.3 match rating, 4 saves, 0.26 goals prevented, 3 saves inside the box, 100% successful runs-outs, 1 high claim, and 41 touches. Pope's return to form is arguably as significant as any change the club could make this season, having already earned them several crucial points. His shot-stopping abilities place him among the best in the league, and his saves were instrumental in clinching the 3 points. Then the fourth thing we learned was our own Haaland problem. The future and impact of William Osula this season are now in question following Jacob Murphy's disappointing performance against Wolves. Murphy played the full 90 minutes despite earning a low match rating of 6.5, leaving fans concerned about his starting position moving forward. In the match, Murphy struggled to make an impact, registering only 1 weak effort on goal against Sam Johnstone. In contrast, substitute Harvey Barnes was a constant threat, firing 3 shots and demonstrating much greater effectiveness on the right wing. Murphy's lack of aggression was evident as he failed to win a single duel out of 9 attempts, and his passing was erratic, resulting in a staggering 16 lost possessions. His performance left many wondering how he managed to stay on the pitch for the entire match, especially as Newcastle struggled to penetrate the Wolves' defense. Given the team's need for a more physical presence in attack and Isak's injury.
The Alexander Isak injury, anything to worry about? Is that serious?
I'm not too sure. I think he got a ball in the eye. And I think whenever it's, the vision's slightly impaired as it was, then he had to come off straight away.
Thanks, Eddie. Well done.
It was surprising that Osula was not brought in to replace Murphy. His profile, likened to that of Erling Haaland, could have added much-needed height and strength for crosses, particularly since all of Newcastle's goals came from outside the box during the match. Osula's recent performances for his national team have shown his potential, raising the question of whether he should have been given the opportunity to contribute in this game. Then moving on to the new Newcastle standards. After the match, it was noted that Newcastle's current run marks their best start to a season since the entertainers' era of 1995 to 96. However, some fans, I myself included, felt that the performance was underwhelming. However, despite our negative feelings about the game, the statistics surprisingly indicated Newcastle's dominance over Wolves. Metrics such as expected goals, passing accuracy, and field tilt suggested that the team's control of the game was more significant than it appeared. This critical perspective of most fans aren't actually bad, but reflect the high standards that have been established at Newcastle under Eddie Howe. Since his arrival, the club has amassed the fourth most points in the league, even amid injury troubles last season. It seems that we fans may be undervaluing the team's performances, so as Newcastle continues to build on this foundation, expectations remain high. Then in some transfer news, German international winger Leroy Sane has been linked with a move back to the Premier League, with 3 English clubs reportedly interested in his services. The 28-year-old previously excelled at Manchester City, where he won major trophies. Newcastle United is said to be closely monitoring Sane's situation as he enters the final 10 months of his contract with Bayern Munich, which has not yet been extended. He currently earns approximately £325,000 per week at the Allianz Arena. With uncertainty surrounding his long-term future, Newcastle may look to capitalize on the situation. Sane will be able to negotiate a pre-contract agreement with foreign clubs when the transfer window reopens in January, making him an attractive option on a potential free transfer. However, given that the reports are coming from Football Insider as the main source, I am sure that this transfer may not be likely for Newcastle, given how unreliable the source is. Also, given Paul Mitchell's focus on bringing in younger players who can increase in value, Sane does not align with this strategy. And for further insights on what we learned during the international break, click the video link on screen now.